Hi, this is Tim from UK Home Gym, your home for UK specific independent home gym tips and advice. And today I'm going to talk to you about a home gym home truth. Okay, and this home gym home truth is about how to pick your fitness and running heroes, and how important it is to be very careful with your selections. And for this video, I am wearing my Karakozidis Grizzly t-shirt. Hope you can see that. Yeah. I do like this t-shirt very much, and probably like a lot of other people who've sort of stumbled across Karakozidis Grizzly on the internet. He's most famous for the sort of memes of him doing the Zerchus shrug or whatever that exercise is, and having a big scream afterwards. And it's funny, and that's sort of how I got into sort of following him. But then I started sort of watching more of his videos, and I really started to understand he's not a joker. He's a very serious lifter. He's someone for whom strength is absolutely everything, and he prioritizes that above everything. And if you see some of the lifts that he does, he'll do, like, he calls it a sled pull. It doesn't look like a sled pull to me. He gets this sort of big shelf full of weight plates. He's sort of stacked with these Olympic weight plates, and then he puts this sort of harness on himself, and he starts dragging this sled backwards. And it's quite amazing. I think you look at that and you think, wow, I'm a long way from being able to do that. But you see the sacrifices he has to make to do it. He's enormously overweight. He's over 200 kilograms. Anyway, I'll come back to this. But anyway, he does inspire me. And I think of other athletes who inspire me. Now, I'm choosing my word very carefully there, inspire. So they inspire me, and I think of, from the strength world, also you watch the Chinese weightlifters at the Olympic Games, incredible, Lu Jiajun and others, more recently as well. Just fantastic. I really adore watching people at the top of their craft in the strength world being able to, to pick up weights that other people just couldn't dream of. If you go towards the bodybuilding world, and I feel very inspired when I watch that black and white film of Dorian Yates in Blood and Guts, and he's taking all of his top sets to failure and beyond, and that's really, it's a dedication to the craft. It's very inspiring. And if I look at the world of running, I think about because I'm also a very keen runner, and I've done a few videos on running as well, and how to mix running and lifting. And this video will also be about running. I think about athletes that have really inspired me, and I think about particularly Ezekiel Kemboi, the steeplechase runner, Kenyan steeplechase runner from a few years ago. And I was lucky enough to see him race once in the flesh, and just incredible. That he would run at the same pace as everybody else, and just in the last lap he would just turn on the burners and just go past the rest of the field. And it was an incredible sight to behold, and something that really inspired me. So I've talked about athletes there who inspire me, and I'm sure there are plenty of athletes and social media people that inspire you. But I think we need to make a very clear division between what inspires you and what you aspire to be. Now, you're going to ask then, who is a good hero in that case? And I will tell you the name of I'll tell you a couple of my heroes. One of them, his name is Fauja Singh, I believe. I hope I got the pronunciation right. And I'm not quite sure how old he is now, but he sort of hit the headlines once, not so long ago, when he became like the 100-year-old who ran a marathon. And I think that now there are a few other 100-year-olds who have run marathons and whatever. But I remember so clearly reading that it was a good few years ago. Reading about this guy in the newspaper or on the internet or whatever, and something just rang a bell for me. And the same bell rang for me last year or earlier this year. I can't remember when it was. Anyway, never mind. I went on holiday. I went on holiday with my family to Marathon in Greece, and we went to Marathon because it's near Athens, and we wanted to see the Acropolis and all of this kind of stuff. So we were there, and it's by the sea and whatever. But of course, it's the sort of birthplace of the marathon. That's where the Battle of Marathon happened and whatever. And then this guy sort of runs off to Athens to deliver the news, whatever. Okay, so they have the original. They call it the original marathon, which begins in Marathon, and then goes sort of all along this sort of hilly route that goes all the way to Athens. And if you've ever been to that part of the world and that particular street, it's like a long kind of industrial-looking sort of road. Each like kilometer marker is marked there as like a sort of street sign type thing. It's quite interesting. Anyway, why am I telling you this story? Because in the taxi from the airport to the hotel, the taxi driver was sort of telling us, I'm sure he regales all of his passengers with very similar tales. He was telling us about this marathon that happens every year. They call it the original marathon, whatever. And he was talking about all the different people that go to it. And he mentioned a guy who was 99 years old who did this marathon. And I looked at it. I looked at the course, and I believe it's in November, I want to say, maybe October. Anyway, November, I think, every year. And this course is hilly, and it's going to be hot because it's Greece, right? And I just thought that hilly course in that heat, age 99, and it's the same bell rang in my head there when I heard about Thodoris Singh. And then just one more person I'm going to mention. I don't even know who this person was, but I was watching some video on YouTube or something like that, and it was this guy, and he was some personal trainer giving some advice or whatever, and it was just on in the background. But I noticed in the background of, while he was talking, an elderly lady came into the gym space where he was and started deadlifting. And she must have deadlifted 80, 90, I want to say about 80 or 90 kilograms. And she was just quietly getting on with that. And the same bell rang in my head. And that bell is, I aspire to be those people. I aspire to be just like Thodoris Singh. I just like this 99-year-old. I don't even know who he is. I just like this 80, 90-year-old lady who's picking up 80, 90 kilograms, picking up her age in weight or whatever, I want to be like that. And those people are my heroes. And someone like Karakozidis Grizzly inspires me. And I think that it's very important to make this distinction. I want to be like those people that I just mentioned. I want the longevity of it. And I'm not saying I want to live to 100, but my point is, when I get towards the end of my life, and I think this should be this is not just personal. I think this should be for you too. I don't want to be like Dorian Yates now. If you've seen him now, I believe I heard an interview with him now, and he's lost all of his very impressive muscle. He just looks like a regular guy now. And I think the interviewer asked him, do you even lift? It's sort of a meme question, right? And he was like, no, I don't really lift anymore. I don't know if he was joking or whatever, but, you think about what he achieved, how many Mr. Olympia titles or whatever he won. But what does he look like now? What does he look like in his later years? You know, there's something to be said for Fauja Singh. You know, he gets on with his marathon. It takes him 5 hours, 40 minutes or whatever to complete a marathon, you know, and you might think, well, that's not particularly impressive in terms of speed, but think about being able to line up for a marathon. And I think about that. I imagine that feeling if I was 100 years old or 99 years old or whatever, and I was lining up for a marathon. That feeling is what I want to have. And as I said, it doesn't need to be when you're 100, doesn't need to be when you're, you know, it doesn't need to be any particular age, but I want to be able to do a marathon at that age. And I want to be like that lady. I want to go into that gym. I want to just quietly get a bar, and I want to quietly load it up with however much weight or whatever, and I want to keep deadlifting. I don't want to be sitting in some chair or sitting in, you know, watching Countdown or whatever at age 70, 80, 90, whatever. I want to be like those people. So how can we bring this back to home gyms? And, you know, what relevance does this have to home gyms? Well, I think that having a home gym it's a commitment to that kind of lifestyle. You're not going to be going into a home gym to, you know, start showing off your muscles. You're not going to go in there to start exhibiting your personal best in public or whatever. Most of the time, you're going to be in there on your own. Most of the time, what you're going to be doing is understated and is building you up to have the longevity, to have the strength, to have the endurance, to retain your muscle, you know, to retain your muscle mass, so that you have the ability to line up for a marathon age 100, or you have the ability to, even though you're 80 years old or whatever, to go in and start deadlifting heavy in the gym. And I think that it should be about that. That's what your lifting should be about. And although, you know, you may have goals, I've certainly got goals in terms of strength, in terms of running as well. You know, I want to beat last year's time. I want to get a PB or whatever. But what's more important than doing a PB, I think, if I'm brutally honest with myself, is the fact that I can line up for another marathon this year, next year, the year after that. And what if I never beat my PB? What if I never get, you know, whatever this magic number is? It doesn't matter. And I'm not saying that you should just go in there and do it the same speed all of the time. You should go into the gym and lift the same weights all the time. No, you try and make incremental progress or whatever. But you don't need to try and jump to some sort of magic numbers. You don't need to have some kind of goal physique that's you know, unattainable in a natural method. You don't need to do that. What I think that would be better to do is find someone that you can aspire to and aim to equal or better what they've done. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment below if you've got any thoughts or questions or anything you'd like to ask about. Please do check out our homepage, our website. That's ukhomegym.com. And I'll see you next time on UK Home Gym.